Parry the Puffin of Skomer Island. There is an island called Skomer just off the Pembrokeshire coast, a most beautiful place, a pleasant and idyllic outpost, with a large population of seabirds populating this lovely isle. You might see kestrels and falcons flying with style. Yet this story is about a puffin. Parry was his name. He fell in love with a young lady. Poppy was that dame. Sadly, Parry was both timid and fearful. He was too scared to fly. The sea filled him with terror. He hated the ocean and sky. The other puffins would laugh at him. They would belittle him every day. Words were often shared. Nasty sentences they would say. Parry would forever think of Poppy. Could she ever love him back? She was the prettiest of puffins. Beauty she didn't lack. Parry did have a most loyal friend. It was a grey seal called Gwyn. It was a most unlikely alliance. He had a most wicked grin. They met when they were both young, Parry being hit with turmoil and strife. He had fallen into the swollen waters, Gwyn then saving his life. Parry and Gwyn then hit it off, to be friends for evermore. They both knew when the other was down, both always knowing the score. Gwyn had some most worrying news. He called out to Parry. It was news that had to be shared. It was about the seagulls from Parry. He had been to see some family who lived on the rocks in Tenby. He then overheard the local seagulls who were perched on the quay. It seems the girls down in Parry who really liked to feast. They were led by the nastiest gull who was a bit of a beast. They usually ate fish and chips, snatching food from human hands. Yet there was something that was amiss. The humans were absent from their lands. Some to do with the pandemic. The humans were forced to keep away. The world seemed worried and quiet. In their homes they would stay. So the hungry girl from Parry, he hatched a nasty plan. It would involve the puffin breeding season, where there would be an abundance of scran. They were to travel east to west. To all gulls they made the call, amassing a huge flying armada from Tenby to Porthcawl. To Skomer they would fly, they would steal from every nest, and newly laid eggs were to be eaten on their greedy, hungry quest. With this most worrying news, Parry knew it was news he must share. He must tell every puffin it's a moment to beware. Yet his news they dismissed, his words falling on deaf ears. They thought he was trying to whip up a frenzy, playing on their fears. A conundrum now Parry was in. What could he actually do? And he thought of a kestrel and falcon. An idea then grew. Cerin and Fionn were the wisest of old birds. They were quite statesmanlike, with the shrewdest of words. They listened to what Parry had to say. An offer of help was then given. Yet all the other puffins would have to help if the plan was to be driven. Again he shared the story to the other puffins. Sadly again they laughed at him. Then the skies turned a deathly black. At this moment it looked grim. The seagull and marder had arrived, circling the island in flight. The puffins then went and hid, trying their best to ignore their plight. Undeterred, our young Parry, he would take to the sky. The first time he had ever flown, he would look the seagulls in the eye. The seagulls giggled and laughed at the brazen young puffin, a puffin that looked out of breath with his huffing and puffing. The nasty girl from Parry went for young Parry, yet Parry gave him the neatest side wing. The kestrel and falcon dived from above, knocking some seagulls down to Bryn. Bryn then toyed with the gulls, dunking them in the sea. This was the beginning of the battle for Skomer's liberty. Parry then did his own dive bomb. The gulls were on his tail. He knew without help from the other puffins, his quest would surely fail. He would skim the ocean waters, and at the plan he would hatch. He then landed on a rocky outcrop. He offered the gull leader a chance to catch. The gull leader saw his opportunity. He had Parry in his sights. Parry then dived into the water, serving the gull his last rites. He would knock himself silly on the rocks. Unconscious he would lay. Parry was swimming like a fish in the beautiful bay. The sky was still dark. The odds were still stacked. Then he looked at the cliff tops. He now realised he was being backed. The Puffins had watched Parry being brave. As one they would fly. Filled with courage and fortitude, they headed up into the sky. The armada of gulls beat a hasty retreat, not having the stomach for confrontation. Having seen their leader defeated, they quickly vacated the Puffin nation. Gwyn had been busy as well. He would stop the gull leader from drowning. When he came round from his ordeal, he was wobbling and frowning. With an ego that had been dented, he would be humble in defeat. He would apologise to the Puffins, then ashamed he would retreat. A party was then had. All the birds would come together, and Parry would then share a kiss. Him and Poppy forever. The end.